Oy, yes. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday afternoon. We just had the weigh-ins for UFC Vegas 93. We lost the Ali Skarov versus Trockley fight a couple days ago. We lost Tagir Ulanbekov versus Joshua Van today. Tagir looked like death warmed over on the scales, missed by 3.5 pounds. That fight was called off. So we're down to, I think, 11 fights now on this card. Kind of an interesting card still. I've got a decent amount of action on it. I'm probably going to add on a little bit more now that we've had the weigh-ins, now that I've seen what I needed to see from everybody. Jose Johnson made weight, 6 feet tall, made 126, looked actually pretty good up there. Looked like he wasn't, he looked entirely too skinny, of course. But he actually looked to be in pretty good spirits. He didn't look, like he was dying, so that's a pretty good sign for a guy that's that big. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how he performs at 125 pounds against a dominant grappler like Asu Almabayev. But for this Greasy 4-leg parlay, I don't have that fight included. So let's get into it. Let's talk about all 4 legs of this parlay. I'm going to be putting it together on both DraftKings for you and BetRivers this week, but BetRivers is going to have the better lines for you. You'll get more plus money on this. So anyway, leg number 1 is going to be the Josephine Knutsson to win by decision line at plus 102. Julia Pilastri has never been finished as a professional, and Josephine Knutsson has only finished 1 of her 7 wins. So if you look at the win condition on my betting template, which is available on my Patreon, the probability Patreon here is we go all the way back and we find the betting template here. You can look at the decision prop here at plus 102. And if I were to fatten these lines up for you guys just a little bit so you can see, I'll try a 26 here. Yeah, there we go. You can see that Josephine Knutsson down here, 6 of 7 wins by decision, 3 of 3 losses for Julia Pilastri, who's never been finished, all by decision. So in those 10 combined, Josephine Knutsson wins and Julia Pilastri losses. 9 of those 10 wins are going to be on the decision side. So we're looking at, with an implied probability, see, now this line has changed quite a bit. It's about minus 170 for Knutsson. It's about 145 for Pilastri right now. You can see that that's about a 56.67% win condition just based on prior performance and the way that these two ladies win fights. And when you adjust it by the money line here at minus 170, you're getting a line that should be priced around 57%. We're getting a line that's priced around 49.5%. Josephine Knutsson is very good everywhere. Very good clinch game. Very good at range. She is a Muay Thai world competitor, K1 champion, Swedish Muay Thai champion, world Muay Thai runner-up, I believe, top 10 pound-for-pound kickboxers in the world, according to Combat Press magazine, for a couple of years stretch. So Josephine Knutsson's got a really well-rounded game. I think she's going to win this fight, win it by decision, and that'll be the first leg of this parlay. So we're going to go here to Knutsson Pilastri. We're going to go to method. Josephine Knutsson by decision, plus 102. Leg number 2 is going to be the Melquizael Costa money line at minus 192. I originally picked Shayilan Nuerdanbeka this week, but as the week's been dragging on and I've been looking at it more and more, I really do believe Melky's going to get the job done here. He's the much better wrestler, the much better striker at range. And Shayilan has shown some decent wrestling chops here in the UFC thus far, but he's not great at holding people down. He's not great at landing a ton of ground and pound when it is down there. And he's fought some real bums. I mean, one of his wins is a literal fixed fight against Derek Minner. Sean Soriano, 0-5 in the UFC. TJ Brown is an absolute fraud, always has been. So those are the wins on his record, and he's even losing stretches in the grappling exchanges against those guys. Melquizael Costa's got a really well-rounded game. Just about as many wins by KO as he does by submission and decision in his career. Also a very experienced fighter, but I don't think that this is close at distance striking range. And I also believe that Melky, being the much bigger featherweight here, is going to be able to even get a takedown or two of his own potentially. Going to be able to threaten with some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu if Shaolan does get him down. So I'm looking for Melquizael Costa to get the job done here, win this fight. I think he probably wins it inside the distance. But the money line at minus 192 is, or minus 195 on BetRivers Sportsbook is probably the safest way to play this. You know, I think you can win by decision. I think you could potentially get a finish here, but I do see Melquizael Costa doing the damage in this fight and landing the more impactful strikes in this damage over control judging environment that we've been entering over the last few months here. I think Melquizael Costa is a rightful favorite in this fight, and I think he gets the nod here. Leg number 3. So leg number 3 was going to be Tagir Ulanbekov's money line. That was Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week this week, but Tagir did not make weight, and he looked absolutely awful. So I'm not sure what happened there. Could have been an injury that maybe didn't allow him to do the necessary road work. Whatever it is, Tagir's skinny as shit anyway. I mean, so when he missed weight, it could have been a number of different reasons, but that fight is off. So I had to find something else that I liked. And I didn't want to go with any of the obvious stuff, the Flick Manus under, the Sergey Wilson under. They're so juiced. There's so little value in it. But there was one, there were some totals this week that I thought were a little bit off. And one of them that I saw was in the Timmy Kawamber Lucas Almeida fight, where we've got the over 1.5 rounds at minus 182. I'm picking Timothy Kawamba to win this fight by decision. I think Timmy has got the much better striking. I also like Timmy's ability to be able to mix in the wrestling and kind of grind out some minutes with the wrestling and the clinch control. And he's not really a finisher on the regional scene. He's finished 4 of his 8 wins. He did get a knockout win over Michael Stack before his win, or before his UFC debut over Balaji Oki. So in that fight against Stack, he dropped him with a head kick and then went in for ground and pound. But even that didn't look like a convincing finish. It looked like Stack was still with it, that he was fine. He definitely protested that finish. I don't think Kawamba is going to be getting finishes at this level, but I do think he's very talented, very well-rounded, very well coached. He's still young. He's still getting better. So that could change, but it's hard to finish fights at this level. And featherweight fights are always ones that go over a lot more than the weight classes that bracket the featherweight fights. Bantamweight fights finish around 49% of the time. Lightweight fights finish around 50% of the time, but featherweight fights only finish about 43% of the time. So featherweight overs are always a sneaky look, and this is one of those spots. And over 1.5 rounds at minus 182. If we look at my betting model for over-under bets, also available on the Probability Patreon, you guys. That's the wrong one. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Fights go over 1.5 rounds, 71.5% of the time in this division. And now we're looking at a 64% line here. And Kawamba's only fight did go over 1.5 rounds in the UFC. For Lucas Almeida, it's only one of 3. He did get flatlined by Andre Fili, and he got grapple fucked on his way to getting submitted by Pat Sabatini. Timmy Kawamba does not have the power that Andre Fili has, and he doesn't have the submission ability that Pat Sabatini has. So I do see this one going over 1.5 rounds, as long as Lucas doesn't land a big shot early and get Kawamba out of there. But I think Kawamba is going to be able to avoid that. I think he's going to be able to get a win here by decision. So I like that over 1.5 rounds at minus 182. or minus 185 on BetRivers Sportsbook, but I got it at minus 182 here, so even a little bit better price. Plus 376 is where this 3-leg parlay has gone. So now we're going to wait until the main event, and we're going to take the Phenom fighter and Tatsuro Taira at minus 205 in the main event against the more experienced, more well-rounded, more well-tested Alex Perez. Perez kind of making another quick turnaround here. I don't think that's going to benefit him well in this fight. Tatsuro Taira, much younger. He's very dominant. The thing about Taira that I really love, and I love betting on these kind of fighters, are the fighters who don't take damage. It's really hard in a damage for, over control environment to win fights if you're not doing damage. And you can see here on the matchup stats available on the Patreon that Tatsuro Taira is only absorbing 1.1 significant strikes per minute on average over a 50-minute sample size, over a 5-fight sample size in the UFC. So I'm looking for Taira to go out here, get the takedowns. And when he gets the takedowns, he's going to work to Perez's back. That's what he does really well. And he also is a very low volume striker, Tatsuro Taira, and it tends to slow down the offensive output of his opponents. Not only because he is pretty precise and he's got good distance striking metrics. Having a 63% distance striking accuracy is absolutely crazy. And that is a function of how worried his opponents are about the offensive wrestling that winds up getting him to his opponent's backs, gets to dominant positions, and then he rides out rounds there. So I love the fact that even though if you think Alex Perez's striking is better than Tatsuro Taira's, Tatsuro Taira only spends 26.7% of his UFC cage time at distance striking range. He is winning 84% of the grappling exchanges in his fights, and he outcontrols his opponents 61% to 11%. It's the amount of control that these guys get when they get takedowns, because they both average, you can see right there, they both average 2.1 takedowns per fight. They both average about 5 takedown attempts per fight, but Alex Perez gets 32% control time, while Tatsuro Taira gets 61.7% control time. So once Tatsuro gets you down, he gets to dominant positions and he keeps you there. Tatsuro 7-0 to the submission as a professional. Alex Perez 7-5. 5 professional losses by submission for Alex Perez. That is a very, very bad hole to have in your game at 32 years old against a 24-year-old who submits people regularly. So I think that Taira can win the minutes here, whether it's on the feet, definitely in the grappling exchanges. And I also think that he can win a decision here if he doesn't get a submission inside the distance. So I like Taira to win. Minus 205 brings that 4-leg parlay up to plus 609 on BetRivers Sportsbook. And if we were to do this on DraftKings, we could go to winning method here. Knutsson by decision at minus 110. Melquizael Costa money line at minus 192. The over 1.5 rounds going to be the alternative total rounds here. For Kuber versus Almeida is minus 185. And then we go to the Tatsuro Taira money line at minus 205. It's plus 565 on DraftKings Sportsbook. But it is plus 609 on BetRivers Sportsbook. So I'll be putting this on BetRivers Sportsbook this week. We hit 3 out of 4 legs last week. We were looking really good up until Julian Marquez got flatlined in less than 30 seconds by Zach Reese. The stoppage was not good. Marquez is one of the most durable guys in the history of the division, and that fight was stopped entirely too soon. And Marquez is the kind of guy who can Homer Simpson you and come back if you do try to gas yourself out trying to finish him. So that could have been a situation where we did cash if Dan Mergliotta, who's a horrible and incompetent ref, wasn't reffing that fight, but that's what it is. What it is. And congratulations to Zach Reese landing that liver kick right away. It was a perfect shot that wound up, getting Marquez to the ground, but he was on a single leg when Merquiata stopped the fight there. So yeah, we went 3 out of 4. Marquez is the one that let us down last week, so we got to hope that none of these guys let us down this week. And one of the guys that did was Tigir Roland-Bekov, because he was Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week this week, but the scales shaved Tigir's ass this week, and he will not be fighting. So leg 1, you guys, Josephine Knutsson to win by decision. Leg 2, Melquizael Costa's money line at -192. Leg number 3, the Kuber Almeida over 1.5 rounds at -185. And leg number 4, Tatsuro Taira money line -205 comes out to +609 on BetRivers Sportsbook. What's up with you guys in the chat? How you guys doing? We got Olajuwon Dream in the room saying, "Oi!" And he's saying, "I feel bad for anyone who bought Apex tickets for this event." Yeah, it's rough, but you're going to miss Trocoli and you're going to miss Ulan-Bekov Van. And those were, not Trocoli. You're going to miss Aliskerov. Nobody gives a shit about Trocoli, but Aliskerov is going to be fighting next week, and he's going to be in the main event. And that is a great fight against Robert Whitaker. That whole card has completely been, we just lost Javid Basharat. He was supposed to be fighting Montel Jackson. So that fight is off. And we've just had so many fights drop out for UFC 303. Conor McGregor is out. Jamal Hill's out. They brought on Ortega versus Diego Lopez, which is going to be a fun fight. But yeah, these cards have been getting nuked this month, and the next week's card is absolutely no exception. And it's a shame that such a good fight like Aliskerov Whitaker is like a slipshod put together at the last minute thing where they both were supposed to have different opponents. So. And we got Teron Brown in the room saying, "Oi!" Saying, "What's up? What's up, Teron? Good to see you hanging out, brother." We got Colby Saul in the room saying, "Let's get greasy." We got Teron saying, "What's up, Uncle?" We got Mr. D in the room saying, "What up, Uncle Weezy? Good to see you hanging out in here, man." We got T-Rex in the room saying, "Unc, good to finally catch a live. I'm usually working, but I tore my Achilles. Jesus, that is not good, dude. That is not good. Tearing your Achilles tendon. Hopefully, it's not too painful of a recovery, but it probably will be. Best wishes, best of health to you, T-Rex, going forward, man. I hope that heals up correctly and it's with as little pain as possible, man. JP Taylor saying, somehow Tagir looked way worse than Johnson. He indeed did. Unbelievable. Broke Degen in the room saying, "Oi, what's up, dude?" We got Antonio saying, "Oi, what's up to my favorite Unc and chat in the game? Good to see you hanging out, Antonio." And we got Aw Jays in the room saying, "Let's go, Uncle." What is up, Aw Jays? Good to see you hanging out in here. And ring a ding, you guys. Broke Degen, member of the Patreon, giving the $5 donation in addition to the $25 that he's supporting the work with on the Patreon, saying, "Biggest Weezy fan," and always telling people, if you guys aren't buying the $25 Patreon, you are not doing Weezy right. Those prop templates are gold. Yeah, the betting models is what he's talking about here with the over-under betting models for 5-round fights and for 3-round fights. The templates for inside the distance, knockout, submission, decision. These are really well thought out, well put together, well programmed betting models that help you not only look at the previous information, but also the benchmarks for the division, the betting lines converted into implied probabilities. It really does give you an idea of what's plus EV, what's minus EV, and where the public is and where you need to be on the other side of the public. And sometimes you want to be with the public, sometimes you want to be against them, but these tools can really help you make better decisions in the long term, not overpay too much for bets, and wind up being a long-term winner. So truly appreciate the $5 donation, Broke Degen, and really appreciate you being a member of the Patreon here. It's been growing. I'd like to say thank you to everybody that signed up this week. Had one of the biggest weeks growing the Patreon. And I really do appreciate your support. I need your support. So it's been a great week this week. And Stat Diggers with Brady has been as viewed as it ever has been in the history of the show. So a lot of support coming from the YouTube community, and I appreciate you guys for it. Broke DGen also saying, if you gamble at all, you basically get Weezy for free because you gamble that money away so much. I appreciate that, dude. Yeah, and I appreciate all the members of the Patreon. And we got AW saying, let's go, Melky. Let's go, Milky. Yeah, dude. Costa, I do think is going to get that win. And I'm thinking of betting him inside the distance at plus 190. I don't know if I'm going to get there or not, but that is definitely one of the things that I'm looking at. And one of the other bets that I'm going to be looking at adding is either Josephine money, the Josephine money line or the Josephine decision line, fairly big. Now that line has come in quite a bit. And we've got Prozac MMA in the room saying, what up, Weezy? What is up, Prozac? I love that. Avatar you got, man. And it's 4:43 a.m. in Australia right now, but my guy RJ's is hanging out with us, looking to get greasy, looking to cash these greasy parlays, saying, who is confident in Taira? I know I am. I know a lot of people are. He is minus 200 on that money line. I just think that he's been such a dominant grappler, and I think the striking is even underrated. And you know, at the age that he's at, he's really in his athletic prime. So it's going to be a great fight. Both these guys made it to the scale early, which was good to see. They were the first two to weigh in. They're both ready to go. It's a big step up for Tatsuro Taira. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he handles it. We got a Chromatic in the room saying that he is confident in Taira. Let's see. Broke D Jensen, you mean that sorry excuse for a country that gave up their guns to the government and thinks that Novak Djokovic ruined his legacy by not taking the vaccine? What country is that? Australia. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Australia is yikes. A little, yeah. I mean, we're all globalists these days, you know. I mean, we've all got globalist regimes running our country, so it's not much different than the United States, unfortunately. I hope you're New Zealand and I got the flag wrong. No, I think he is Australia. Yeah. JP Taylor saying I max bet Taira at minus 170 RJs. Okay, so JP is also confident in Taira. We got the Golden Octagon, my guy Matt in the room saying, "Oi, let's get greasy." Good to see you in here, Matt. Appreciate you hanging out. We got Gagnon saying, like Taira a lot, but Perez is still dangerous and is battle tested. He fights like the best of the best fighters. Yes, I mean, dude, Perez is much more experienced. He's fought the much better brand of competition. He's been in there with the better guys, obviously, and he's a very good wrestler in his own right. So this is a great step up for Tatsuro. We're going to find out a lot about what his ceiling is in this fight. So we're going to see that if he can pass the Alex Perez test. Let's roll 13-13 saying, what's the ass shaving of the week now that we lost to Ulanbekov? And frankly, I'm not going to give one this week because too many big favorites and not enough fights on the card. You know, I'm not giving I'm not doing it this week. Ulanbekov was my pick, and now I just don't see something that sticks out that I'm confident in. I'm not confident enough in Melquizael Costa to make him the ass shaving. I'm not confident enough in Taira to make him the ass shaving. I would make it Josephine Knutsson, but it's a woman, and the fight's probably going to go to decision, so that's a problem there. I would say my next most confident pick, Gerald, but it's not an official ass shaving of the week pick. I think it would be Melquizael Costa, but it's just the second most confident pick at this point. We're back in the Apex, but we're going to be back out of it for a minute here, Tehran, because the next 2 weeks we go to the happiest place on earth next week, ladies and gentlemen. Saudi Arabia will be where we're at next week, And the week after that, it's going to be UFC 303. So that'll be a pay-per-view card. Definitely not at the Apex. And then we get a week off for July 4th. So we're not going to be back in the Apex for at least a month after tomorrow, which is a good thing. I think you're from New Zealand, right? I've been there and I loved it. Never been to Australia. Love the Maori, and I love New Zealand. It was great. I've never been to either place. My God, it's a fucking crazy flight from the United States to get to Australia, man. Like almost 24 hours. We got the shit line I said was against your big rival, the Aussies. Oh, okay. And we got Paul Vivret saying, Weezy plus chat, what happens to my Josephine and Ikram parlay now? Does it just turn into a single bet on Josephine, or can you get the refund? It just turns into a single bet on Josephine. And if I were you, Paul, I'd just let that ride. It's the same thing happened to me. I have Josephine parlayed up with Tagir. So I lost the Tagir fight. So now I've just got a straight 1 unit bet on Josephine, which I will probably be adding to because I like her money line here. I think she gets the win. We got, it turns to a void. It does not turn to a void, Jace. Well, I guess it depends on the book, doesn't it? But mine always, they do not void. Like on Bet Online, they will not void. They will just cross out one of the legs, and then you got a straight bet on what's left. So, but I guess it does depend on the book. Yes, Freak saying, Uncle Weezy, Scottsdale, Arizona is watching you. What is up? Yes, Freak. Paul saying, thanks to Jace. We got Broke D Jensen, tons of great stats on there too. Like an unbelievable amount of great stats that compiled the distance, striking, and just everything all organized perfectly besides the prop templates. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. And it's true, man. I mean, like I've just putting together these templates so that you could, see this, get all the stats on the same page and see them side by side and compare them to the divisional benchmarks and conditionally format them to determine whether they're above or below the divisional benchmarks. It's just a great way to have all the information in one place when you want to wiki cap the fight before you do the tape study. So you find out what you're looking for, because you can find out in the stats where they've been weak in the past. And then you go and you watch the tape study to determine, all right, well, were they weak in the grappling because they were facing lockdown grapplers, or are they just shit grapplers? And then you can find that information on tape. And when you do all the work, you're going to make better decisions in the long run. D Spearman in the room saying, Weezy, saying at work, getting overtime, had to check in. Appreciate you hanging out, D. I hope all is well, brother. We got Odd MD saying, Weezy with the Raul Rosas scream. I love it, man. We got Paul saying, love you, Weezy. Thanks for all the content, all the videos every week, brother. We appreciate all your work, man. I appreciate you, Paul. Thank you for checking in with us. We got Winner's Circle in the room saying, Weezy, what's up, dude? Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Let's cash some tickets this week. Bumbo Clot saying, Taira is the future. He's saying he's a lock. I hope he is, man, because that's 1/4 of this parlay. So we need Tatsuro Taira here saying, yo, Uncle Weezy is based. Let's go. Well, I don't know what based means, actually. I'm an old man, so I don't know some of this terminology that the kids are using, man. We got JP saying, thanks, Weezy, for the Greasy. Best of luck, everyone. You got it, man. We got Dale in the room saying, oh, what's up, Dale? He's saying, love these lives on a Friday when the office is empty. Cheers, Weezy. Good to see you hanging out in here, Dale. Appreciate you, man. We got Josh Frick saying, going to Australia by boat is the only way, man. My God, that would probably take a month, dude. Uncle Weezy story time, quick one. He says, I don't have anything for you here. I got to actually jump. My girlfriend is waiting for me behind me now. We got to go to the grocery store. So next week, we'll try to do something here, Gerald. And we got Grateful Dude in the room. He's been with me on the Patreon since day one saying, oh, what is up, Grateful Dude? Thank you guys for hanging out. Quick little recap here. We've got Josephine Knutsson to win by decision at plus 102 is the first leg of the parlay. Second leg of the parlay, Melquizael Costa's money line at minus 192. We got Timmy Kawamba versus Lucas Almeida over 1.5 rounds at minus 185 is leg number 3. And we're going to close it out with the Tatsuro Taira money line in the main event at minus 205. Comes out to plus 609 on BetRivers Sportsbook, plus 565 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Let's cash it. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. Leave me a comment down below if you've got a parlay that you're looking at this week. Just say oi. Any kind of interaction helps. Appreciate you guys. And consider joining that Patreon so you can get access to all these phenomenal stats. The Patreon only content this week was over 4 hours of subscriber only content between the balls deep breakdowns. That was almost 2.5 hours of every fight on this card, and the probability show that we do every week with DFS by the numbers, where we find all the plus EV spots using my betting models and our tape study reads. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 93. And we will see you guys Sunday, DFS by the Numbers YouTube channel, 6:15 Central Time for Stat Diggers. Have a great week. Good luck on all your bets, everybody. Let's smash the books this week. Take care.